There's two things that were actually, yeah, two things that were important in my early stages of playing guitar. When it comes to slide, it was one of those Johnny Winter TV Mama tunes. That song and discovering discovering Rory Gallagher. Somebody gave me a VHS tape of his concert in Germany, rockpalast. It's available online now, but back then, mid 90s, early 90s, mid 90s, those two things were first the sound of a tricone guitar that Johnny Winter played on that TV Mama song. It was in C tuning, but it was actually open G. But I think he capoed the neck or something like that. And then just seeing how it could be done on an electric guitar too, and you don't have Rory wasn't using fingerstyle or finger picks, or he was just playing it regularly with a pick, and even in a standard slide. Oh God, standard tuning. So even more difficult. But the first thing that I discovered was like that I could detune the. I was keeping for a while. I was keeping the E string. I was completely oblivious of the fact that I could detune the E string to D. So this was for a long time. This was in E, and then my G was still here instead of here, and but it got me thinking differently, creatively, and whatnot. But one of the first things was the open G tuning, and the fact that I realized I could just play. I could just play chords. So figuring out stuff like that really changed my mind about the guitar as an instrument that could only be tuned one way, and then you have this particular sound, and yeah, but even back then, I didn't know. Even in standard tuning, I was crap. Understanding the fretboard and everything. It was a long time before I make myself discover the standard tuning. But the open tunings were always interesting to me, and it would just make me. It would be a getaway from the stale sound of the standard tuning, and also just like whatever I knew that I was doing in standard tuning, I was completely lost, and this was super exciting for me. It was just like a new sound, almost like having a new instrument, because when you tune down, even when you tune down three strings, which we're doing here, this is D, this is G, and then this is E. The guitar starts to resonate completely differently, and the harmonics are different, and you sort of have a feel like if you're tired of if you have a couple of guitars and you get tired of one of them, just try a new tuning, and maybe you just decide, well, I'll keep this guitar in a separate tuning or whatnot. And getting back to Johnny Winter and Gallagher, and I discovered that the first lick I think that I learned is just sliding in from on the top two strings. Doing this, and then I realized, oh, it's these notes, and then I just took this. I think I used to have a metal slide, and And then this sound was predominant in so this is a motif that you will hear in 90% of even more blues songs written in an open tuning. This. When I first started a Hoboken, took a freight train to be my friend. Yeah, but John Lee Hooker, he wasn't really playing slide. He was using the open tunings, but it was, you know, R.L. Burnside is one of the guys who also was quite a discovery. The rawness and you know that whole approach of one chord. But John Lee Hooker, that's the beginning and the end for me. He is and was and will be. You know, it's the alphabet. It's the Bible of open tuning playing. Although he used open A, so he would tune up instead of tuning down, but more on that later. So yeah, you know, discovering this. That was the lick, you know. So. Lay down last night. I turned my TV on. I laid down last night and I turned my TV on. Yeah, my bleached out approximation of the TV Mama song. But yeah, that's what got me started, you know. And then seeing the Rory Gallagher rockpalast concert had I had the big hall, shitload of people, electric band version, and then you had him playing solo on acoustic, on mandolin and the national single cone and an acoustic guitar, 12-string acoustic, and that was a fucking revelation for me. And later on the first album from the first band, GLOFT, I would just mess around. I would tune into G, and then I would say, okay, well, you don't have to use it for blues, right? So I did a little riff. So it was sort of oriental sounding. Stuff like that. But let's get back to slide. I didn't mean for this video to be a rant of any sort of my illustrious, boring history and how I came up as a player and how I became interested in slide. But chords, yeah, we talked about single lines, and let's talk about playing a couple of strings together. So you got to know one thing: playing slide is all about the right hand. Once you get this technique of being correct with the intonation and being at the right place at the right time and not sounding, of course, out of tune, like I said, it's all about here, about what you want to control. This is like these guys control what comes out and what doesn't, because when you bar a chord like this, everything starts ringing. So if you want to get a melody like, so you got to have control here. So you got to have control like this. So I'm playing. B string, G string, D string, and all this time, if I'm playing the B string, these guys are, they have to be quiet. So the thumb is it's muting the bottom strings over here, and this guy is like getting ready to play the G string. So, and this is the C chord. So it's the 5th fret. So I'm hovering over the 5th fret, and and you know what? Like, there's tutorials. They will. This is why I started ranting. Like, for fuck's sake, it was 1990 something. I had one vinyl record, and I had this, one concert from Rory Gallagher, and a shitload of will, to figure it out. And just by watching over and over again, till the tape wore out, until the fucking record player, the record, fell apart, or the cassette tape, whichever I had handy first. I figured it out. It's not super hard. You just have to be stubborn and persistent. And so why am I saying this? Because we could analyze all these movements, but if you get your pinky, or if you keep it at this finger, it's fine. Keep it at this finger, it's fine, as long as you have one finger to mute behind the slide. It's just feel it out, just see what sounds good. A sus4. You can play 3 strings at a time, or 3 strings apart, little arpeggios. These are, by the way, banjo rolls. Might do a video on that too. So yeah, my point exactly is, like, take your time with the instrument. People, this thing is it's a game that does not end. It ends when you fucking croak and drop dead. This is when it ends, and it has so much. It has, unlimited amounts of levels, and you never get to, there's no end to it. And the beauty is, like, every day, if you give it time, and if you give it your attention, and if you give yourself the time and the patience and the attention to concentrate and to sit down and just work on it, it'll come up. You'll figure it out. It's not. If I figured it out, fuck it, you'll do it too. So, questions, comments, whatever, just subscribe and try to keep I want to keep this channel ad free. I don't want to do any Google clicks and shit like that. So there's a link below where you can just send me money if you want this shit to continue, and if you find this helpful in any way. If not, fuck it, move on. There's a lot more going on, and you know it. So till next time, cheerio.